Bill Clinton sat down for an interview with CNBC, and when he was asked about an issue or about the issue of corporate taxes, he made quite a few Republican arguments.
Now, only Japanese companies that for a variety of cultural reasons don't leave pay about what our companies do. We have the highest overall corporate tax rates in the world, and we are now the only OECD country that also taxes overseas earnings on the difference between what the companies pay overseas and what they pay in America when they repatriate the money. So a lot of these executives, even if they want to bring the money home, think, oh, this is crazy. I can borrow the money in America for 2% or something, and interest rates are below inflation. And better that I borrow the money at 2% than repatriate it at 20 or 10 or 5 or 6 or whatever it is. We need to reform the tax system.
So that's very important right there, and let me break down exactly what he's saying. Now, the whole reason they're having this conversation is because President Obama announced and Treasury Secretary Jack Lew announced that they're actually going to crack down on what's called the inversion tax loophole. That's something that we discussed on the show before, and basically the way it works is that a company which is centered in the United States decides we want to dodge some taxes, so they buy an overseas company which is much smaller, and they pretend like actually that's where our headquarters is. It's in Ireland where we just bought this tiny company, so you can't tax us here in America. We're going to pay the Irish tax rate now, which is lower. So Obama comes out and says, whoa, 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 whoa. I mean, you want to talk about being unpatriotic. I mean, be an economic patriot and realize that you should pay your U.S. taxes and don't do this tricky, nonsense, sleazy deal where you pretend like you're selling most of your products in Ireland when it's a fact you're selling it here. So they decided we're going to crack down, and in typical Obama fashion, it's not even that we're going to do it retroactively and go after the sons of bitches who already did it, which is a lot. It's just from here on out. So it's like a mild, vanilla reform, but it's still a step in the right direction, and I give credit to Obama and Jack Lew for this. They're going to do it without going through Congress. They're just going to do it at the executive level, which is a good thing because, of course, something like this wouldn't get through Congress. But in steps Bill Clinton, and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not forget about Slick Willie here. Remember, I'm a corporatist Wall Street Democrat. Again, people forget that Bill Clinton, he signed NAFTA. This is the guy who is responsible for, umpteen millions of good middle-class factory jobs in America being shipped to fucking China, Mexico, and everywhere else, right? So, in many ways, look, he wasn't a horrific president, certainly better than the other level of deregulation that came under George W. Bush and comes under neoconservative administrations and with Republican leadership. But he wasn't great. He wasn't good, okay? Yeah, there was an explosion of private sector jobs, but that was mostly because of the tech boom under Bill Clinton. So keep things in perspective and understand that. And he also did some deregulation of Wall Street. So this guy is center-right through and through. And what argument is he making here? He's saying, I disagree with Obama. What I would do is I would reform and simplify the corporate tax rate. How does he want to do that? By cutting it. Now, understand that the point he made right there is flat out false. It is flat out inaccurate. It is not true. So what do I mean? He said, well, the United States, there's a reason why these executives want to do all this tricky stuff. The United States has the highest overall corporate tax rate in the world. Bill, on paper, it's the highest corporate tax rate in the world, or one of the highest, at 35%. The effective rate, which is what they actually pay, because the nominal rate, which is what it is on paper, is meaningless. It's irrelevant. It doesn't mean anything, because that's not what anybody pays. Okay? The effective rate in the United States, you want to guess what that is? 12%. One of the lowest in the modern world. So this idea that, these poor business owners and these poor corporations, they're just doing what they think is right and doing what is only good for their shareholders by doing these ridiculous inversion loopholes and shifting the tax burden onto middle-class American taxpayers and poor people, It's nonsense. It is nothing but a canard. Okay? It's a totally misleading thing to say, oh, woe is the companies. No, not woe is the companies. If they're paying 12%, they should be paying more. You should crack down on inversions, and you should raise the corporate tax rate. I mean, the percentage of tax revenue that comes from corporations today is at an all-time low in the United States of America. During the golden age of economic expansion, the situation was that the corporate tax rate, or the corporate tax revenue, was much higher, and the middle class and the lower class paid a much lower percentage of the tax burden. Now that's reversed.